Hello PointPay family and welcome back again to our traditional AMA session. Here with me is Diana. Hello Diana.
Hello, everyone.
So, welcome back to the second part of our AMA session. This is Thursday. Sorry. In the previous part, we spent most of our time discussing our new Web3 terminal. Today, it's time to talk about the futures market that, by the time it is released, should be released or is about to be released um, to our first users. So, of course, we also cover a couple of updates, including the staking. And in the end, I will obviously answer some of your questions. So, before we begin, just a quick reminder to like and subscribe to our channel, like this video, um, press the bell button to be notified about our new releases of the AMA sessions. This really helps us, and give us a comment. You can say, "Hi Vlad, I love PXP, I love PointPay, go PXP, smiley face, anything will do." This really helps with the algorithms. So, um, so let's go into our main topic. So we've been preparing for this launch for quite a while, and obviously I'm recording it a couple of days before. So at about this time, some of the users should have been finally introduced to our futures trading. So first, may not be firstly, it may not be available to everybody, as I said before in the previous AMA session. But don't panic if you don't have it on your thing. It was made available for a select number of users, and we will be expanding this capability by the end of spring. So I think in about a month, 2 months, it should be available to absolutely everyone on our platform. But yes, we decided to roll it out in batches uh, because it's such a intricate and dangerous product in terms of kind of abuse and stuff like that. So we've decided to release it separately for everybody. Just give me a second. Sorry. Okay, so um, we are opening futures trading for the new users each day. So partially in increasing kind of it will partially increase the pressure on all of our services, and it was a decision made after the Web3 terminal release. So yeah, pretty much because it's such a heavy part of our system, we decided to just see how we can scale our infrastructure organically. Because we were kind of scared that if we will release it for everybody, our infrastructure might not stand up to the test. So if you are indeed the lucky one, you should see the Futures tab under the trading section. We also sent a few emails with invitation and a release notice. If you have received such an email, so you can just see the futures on the website and the mobile app. If you are one of the chosen ones. So please enjoy the futures trading. I'm on the first users, and please report it to everybody. You can write it in the VIP group, in the main group, how much you're enjoying trading futures on PointPay. So once more, it should be available to everybody by the end of spring. But for now, I think we've released it to the selected 1,000, and we will be increasing that number every single week. We already have a list of people which were categorized by their activity on the platform. By doing so, we are able to kind of scale our infrastructure organically, and also kind of we are worried about fraud and kind of large volumes, etc., because it's margin trading is involved. So we're just making sure that we are releasing it as safely as possible. Um, So initially, this update was planned to go out a lot earlier, even before the Web3 terminal, but things turned out slightly differently. What matters is that futures trading is should be live now on PointPay and fully available to the selected few. And I want to highlight that we have focused heavily on security and transparency, like in all of our services. I know that many of you already trade, spot spot, on the spot market, and some of you have never tried futures trading before. So I will go over the key aspects of implementation without going too deep into the technical details, although some of you might already be quite familiar. The first important thing to know is that we have a dual pricing mechanism. In one chart, you see the last traded price, but the liquidation is calculated based on the market price. So this protects you from the sudden spikes and manipulation in the market. So simply put, your position won't be closed due to the short-term price movement on a single exchange, because we use an aggregated index from multiple sources. So on one given exchange, because it could be small, the price could hike up or drop too low, and then you would go into automatic liquidation. So because we have a dual pricing mechanism, we get this data from multiple exchanges, meaning that if there is a temporary spike, your assets shouldn't be liquidated, if that makes sense. So now let's talk about the margin module. So at launch, we introduced three options: isolated margin, cross margin, and portfolio margin. So if you're just getting started with the futures, so I recommend beginning with the isolated margin. So each position is managed separately, so you always know exactly how much you are risking. With the cross margin, it is better suited for those who want to diversify their risk, where profits from one position can offset the losses from another. And the portfolio margin, judging by the name, is designed for kind of more advanced traders who work on multiple instruments at the same time. Okay, so let's also talk about the leverage, so which can go up to 100 times so on our platform. So yes, it can significantly increase the potential returns, but remember that it could also potentially increase the risk as well. So on top of that, we use a dynamic leverage system. So larger your position size, the lower maximum leverage available. So it isn't just a limitation for the sake of it. So it's a protective measure to reduce the large losses and the lower chances of kind of auto deleveraging on our exchange. So speaking of auto deleveraging, ADL as some people call it. So this is kind of, I think it deserves a separate mention that you kind of have to know about and have to be aware of. So it is a mechanism that activates only in very extreme cases, when the insurance fund cannot cover the losses from the liquidated position. So to reduce the chances of being affected by the ADL, keep an eye on the indicator in your interface. So if you see a high ranking, consider lowering your leverage partially before closing your position. So everything is transparent. You can always assess your risks before going into trade. But yeah, I think it is kind of an important thing to mention because this was kind of when we did the initial testing, beta testing with regular users, quite a lot of them didn't know what ADL was. So let's talk about the funding rate. So it updates every minute, but it's charged every 8 hours. So if the rate is positive, long positions pay short positions, and if it's negative, it's the opposite. The short positions pay the long positions. So the fee is calculated simply by the position size multiplied by the funding rate. So everything is clearly shown in the interface before you position, so there are no surprises there. And as for the interface, so we aim to make it as intuitive and familiar as possible for those of you who already traded on futures trading exchange. So at its core, it's our classic PointPay exchange adapted for the specifics of the futures trading. And at the top, you select the trading pair. We've launched the main ones for now. So the kind of the trading pairs pool is slightly reduced at the moment, but we were planning to increase it in the coming weeks. So below you'll find the time frames from 1 minute to 1 day. And they're suitable for the position for both scalping and kind of the midterm trading as well. So on the right, there is a real-time order book in green and red. So, short buttons are green and the long buttons are red. And one click and, you get into a position. So all active orders, open positions, and the P&L are gathered in one place at the very bottom of the screen. So you can get comfortable with all of those things in maybe just 5 to 10 minutes, even if it's your first time, using PointPay in general. I think the interface is quite intuitive and quite easy to understand. We will be releasing a couple of tutorial videos and guides for all of you who haven't traded before. I think it is quite important. But yeah, if you've traded on a futures exchange before, the PointPay exchange shouldn't be any different. If you haven't, I think it's a good way to start trading futures as well after watching a couple of educational video. I think another point that I need to mention is the open interest limit. So we've introduced a cap on the maximum share, a single trader can hold in a total open interest. So, for example, if the total volume is $5 million per se, so one user cannot hold more than 20% of that amount. So this helps us to prevent the risk of concentration and manipulation of the large players if the limit exceeds. So the system won't simply allow you to increase your position. Give me a sec. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, so where was I? And I think I finally wanted to mention the insurance fund. So each contract is a type of its own fund. So USDT, USDC, and inverse contracts. When a position is liquidated at a price that is better than the bankruptcy rate, the remaining funds go into the insurance fund. So if it's worth, the fund should be able to cover the difference. So only when the fund is depleted does the ADL come into play, if that makes sense. So we monitor those funds very, very closely. I think this is a general kind of overview of the futures trading and its implementation. It's very much the same on every single trading platform. If you're unfamiliar, You can go on YouTube. There are plenty of videos that explain it probably a lot better than I did. It's a lot of technical information, but after you've, I don't know, maybe dedicate $50, try to trade it up and down. You know, you might win some, you might lose some, but I think it's a good introduction into what it does. It is similar. Is it similar to other platforms? I would say very much so. I think it's 90% similar. I think all the platforms are essentially similar, and I think much of what I have described is an industry standard. However, bringing the futures into PointPay ecosystem was something that our users have asked for a few years, and because we already saw quite a strong interest, so that's why we've implemented it, and kind of going forward we plan to expand this segment by adding more assets and more tools into our platform. If you still have questions about how the futures market work, as I said before, go on to YouTube. We will be releasing a couple of tutorials. We will be releasing a couple of FAQs as well. What else I have to mention? User level bonuses and discounts apply to futures trading as well. So if you want to reduce your trading costs, make sure to check that section in your profile. And yeah, I think that is all that I want to say about futures trading on PointPay. Okay, and I needed to mention another one thing, and that was staking on PointPay. So at the moment, staking is available for two assets, PXP and TRX. Due to kind of changing of the market conditions, it's being very challenging at the moment. We've made a decision to reverse the staking rewards for PXP. So the rewards have been reduced to 1% APY. Staking period remains the same for 12 months, and the minimum staking amount is now 1,000 PXPs. These new conditions will come into play on 1st of April. That means they're already live, and you should now see it being updated on the platform. Of course, all existing staking positions kind of will remain the same and will continue on their original terms, but new staking going forward will have a from 0.5 to 1% API. This is what we decided to do because of the challenging market conditions. We might update it to a much better rate going forward, but right now this is what we've decided to do. Yes, let me just mention that all of the positions that are currently active will have the same rates, because this is a contract that you've signed. We will honor it, of course, but all of the new staking going forward will have to be a lot lower. I think this is all that I wanted to mention. I think with that, I want to wrap up the information bit of our AMA session, and I think, Diana, it's your turn to ask me some questions.
Sure thing. Okay, so let's move on and read the first question. Which tokens can be traded on the Web3 terminal?
Which tokens could be traded on Web3 terminal? The short answer is any. On our DEX, you can trade virtually any token because you decide what you want to exchange and what. So if you want to buy and sell a specific asset, you can simply create an appropriate order. That said, it's better to use the most popular tokens like the USDT and USDC to increase the chances of execution. In the futures section, however, the asset list is defined by us, and right now it includes the most in-demand tokens like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others, but we are planning to expand that list in the next couple of months, but we've just decided to start with this short list, see how it works, and then kind of expand it further.
Okay, let's move on to the Next question. Is the DEX spot release the same P2P feature that was announced earlier but hasn't been fully launched yet?
That's a great question. So because I think, yeah, it could create some confusion. In short, no, it is not the same as the P2P solution. As I mentioned before, the current decentralized platform is a separate product that allows direct trading outside of the traditional exchange structure. What we announced earlier refers to the direct trading between users uh, who remain on the main platform, and you have to pass KYC in order to participate in P2P trading on PointPay. But on DEXs, you don't have any of that limitation. So P2P is kind of the DEX of PointPay main thing, and yeah, pretty much it's two separate things. We will be releasing it shortly. I think we wanted to release a lot better, but then we've hit the regulatory struggle. But we decided to release it anyway, so it will be available quite soon. In any way, it's similar to what we have with the future. So, both sexes and dexes version, but, each of them has its own advantages and limitations.
Okay. And the last question for today is, why was the Web3 terminal created? Isn't it just a duplicate of the regular exchange, but with higher fees due to gas costs?
Um, if you phrase it that way, well, I think at the first glance, it might seem like a duplication because you've pointed out that the key difference yourself, the gas fees and the blockchain usage. With our exchange, the asset transfers happen within our system, so you don't have to pay anything. You just have to pay a small fee, service fee that we kind of, that's how we make our living. But deposits and withdrawals, however, processed via blockchain with the gas fees applied. This is where the main difference lies. So within our platform, it's more convenient and cost effective to trade, store, and move the assets. But we don't support. But yes, so for example, if we don't support the token that you want to trade and you prefer not to go through the KYC or deal with the aspects of decentralized exchanges like AML, blah 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 blah, then the DEX I think is the place for you. All you need is a wallet and piece of paper to write down your seed phrases. But yeah, so depending on your goals, you might end up using both sexes and dexes. I think plenty of people use both. We just wanted to make it more convenient for you, so you can do it within one single platform. Okay.
Well, that was the last question. Thank you.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Diana, for collecting all of those questions. I think this is it for the today's Q&A. And let's wrap up. Lastly, something that I forgot to do at the beginning, the results of the Q1 of 2026. So we improved our technical process. You can find more details in our roadmap. We redesigned quite a lot of key sections of our website. We redesigned the front page, the landing page. We redesigned our app as well. We introduced a full-scale decentralized platform that I've mentioned earlier for spots and futures, and which also has a prediction market, which is kind of a new thing. And we've introduced kind of new tools for creating and launching tokens there. We launched the Rewards Hub. This is where you can complete certain tasks and get some money, fees, commissions, etc. And most recently, we finished the development of the futures trading. I don't know whether it should count towards the Q1 or Q2, but let's count it towards Q1 as it was supposed to be released then. So let's say that the futures trading is fully available on our exchange. It might not be visible to you yet, but it should be visible to you by the end of spring. I think it was a very productive Q1. I'm very happy with the development team. We've managed to accomplish quite a lot of things on our platform. Everybody was working incredibly hard. And thank you all to the community who supported us along the way. So if you would like to know what we're planning to do until the end of the year, you can go on our roadmap on our website and see what we have managed to deliver since the start of the project and what we're planning to accomplish as well. So in Q2, our main focus will be on redefining the current releases and kind of adding new useful features, kind of expanding the core functionality. I hope I'll be able to share the results of the first week of this work in the next AMA session that will summarize in April. I'm not sure where I'm gonna be. I think, let me have a look at my calendar. If you're still with me, I think you can wait for a couple of minutes. So in April, for the AMA session, I'm gonna be in Las Vegas. So I'm going to be recording it from a hotel room. So there's going to be no background and the lighting might be a lot worse. But yeah, I'll probably be talking about the about what we managed to accomplish. And I can give you some things that I saw at the conference as well, which could be quite exciting. So thank you all, everybody. Thank you, Diana, for collecting the questions and organizing all of this. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and well done, everybody, for this amazing Q1. Thank you.